This is my second video of homes under 100,000K. I did a video last week on a new series I want to start on searching for waterfront homes that are under $100,000 in the US or Canada even. And today we're going to try to do several instead of just one. The reason I'm doing this is because I enjoy the idea of living on the water, and it's fun for me to search to see what homes are actually available, and some of them are pretty fascinating. I was going to start with there were some really cheap ones that were in Canada, but they're already sold. There was this one right here. It was a little cabin on the river, and it had a log cabin that was in disrepair and a little plywood cottage. Someone turned into a studio. It was about $25,000 Canadian and was about $23,000 US, which is amazing. This one here was also very low, but they've already gotten rid of the listing. So, but this was it right here on a little creek. It was pretty shallow with a lot of rocks. However, you can get a boat with a jet drive that will go in just like 6 inches of water. But it was in Canada, and it very nice little piece of property for a very small amount of money. It was in Nova Scotia. And the creek led on into a little bay out into the ocean. So it was pretty interesting. Let's start with ones that I've been looking at recently, the newest ones. Here's one for $89,000, and it's not some little trailer in the swamp somewhere that needs tons of work. It's on 6 acres, 6.2 acres in Golconda, Illinois, $86,000 or $87,000. The estimated payments is $472 a month. And we're going to zoom in on Google Maps in just a second to give you an idea where it's at. And of course, we're looking for waterfront. Let's look at the photos. This one's kind of interesting because it doesn't really give you much information about the water, which is why we're wanting to buy it. But look at these outbuildings. This is the main building. Very nice. It's got a garage that could be made into another living unit. And it's got an old barn. And it's on 6.2 acres. Here it is on a main road. And this is a creek. Whenever they say creek, that's a bad sign. It's not river. Even rivers can be kind of bad because they can dry up on you. But usually creeks can be seasonal. Very nice looking piece of property. And once again, 6.2 acres for, what was it, $87,000. And I'm not seeing any danger signs. I don't see any floodwater marks where, well, there's a little bit here maybe. But I looked at some of the older homes in the neighborhood, and that's a good sign too. When you see other homes that are built places, you know that if there was a lot of problems there, people wouldn't keep building. 87,000, 6 acres in Illinois. Or was it Indiana? I forget. We're going to take a look. So as you can see, the house looks fairly nice. I'm going to have to say it's more than nice. It looks good. Now, what does it say about it? It says it's close to the Ohio River. So it's on a creek that leads into the river, 6.2 acres, new air conditioning, laminate flooring, 4-season porch, but really nothing much about the water, which is why we're wanting it. Let's go to Google Maps. Okay, here we are. Let's do a satellite. Okay, this tells us what we want to know. We've got 2 bridges, so we don't know the clearance of them. But so long as we can get a Boston whaler through, or a sailboat with a mast and a tabernacle, a little day sailor, nice big piece of property. And this part looks like it's in floodwater, like it's the water's pretty high right now. Let's see where we're going with this. We're going through this bridge to another bridge, and this is a marina. That's a good sign. But here's the creek. What's happening to it? You've got this land right here with the trees. This is water that's risen. This is like a little piece of land. I think the creek is really, when the water is low, the creek's probably right here in the middle, and all this part is land. The water's risen. It's in flood. But then we got this right across the only exit part into the main river. And the main river is, what is it? Is it the Ohio? Yep. Main river is Ohio. You can't get any better than that, maybe. So you've got a launching ramp here, but I'm kind of nervous about this. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get a boat. I don't know how high this is. And because when the water recedes, you're going to have the creek that goes right here. And of course, the creek must go over here too, because you've got a marina there. But there was a spit of land here where all these trees are. Could be cypress, but I don't think in Kentucky, Indiana, you'd have cypress. So where is it on the Ohio? Bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, we're down here to Paducah. Oh, I know where we're at now. Right near Metropolis, where Superman comes to stay. All right, guys. So that is a nice looking piece of property for just $89,472 a month. But I'm not too sure how you're going to get your boat out unless it's a pretty small boat. But 6 acres, something to think about. What's next on the list here? Let's take one in West Virginia. Okay. Nice river view. What does it say about this? It sits on a piece of property with overlooking the Kanawha. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Kanawha? I'm not from that part of the country. You all have to forgive me. We'll take a look at it on Google in just a second. Could be the home on the river you always wanted. Let's take a look. Nice little siding. It looks recently maintained. It looks beautiful river, beautiful view. Imagine those hills turning colors in the fall, in the winter. The tug boats and tow boats coming down. I guess this is something to keep your boat on the river, these 4 posts. You could have it so when the water rose. Okay. Life is not about waiting on the storm to be over. It's about dance in the rain. I think they erased learning to dance in the rain. I like that. They erased the learn to part. Life is not about waiting on the storm to be over. It's about dance in the rain. With what's going on now with COVID and everything, I think that's a very appropriate little model to have as a reminder on your kitchen wall, dining room wall. Okay. Ooh, that color. Oh my goodness. I could care less about most colors, but that's what every institution looked like when I was a kid. You'd go to the hospital or the welfare office, they'd have a green wall. Or in grade school, nice yard. Colored covered area, swing, very nice. So 58,000, I have no idea what's going on in the community because location, but the house looks pretty decent. And it says it has a half acre. The yard looked a lot smaller than what they mentioned. Sits on almost half acre. It looks smaller than a half acre, but there you go. Does it have a backyard again photo? Let's see. Little ramp going down, stairs going down. That's good. It's got a little outbuilding, a place to sit on the swing, watch the road go by. America, you could do worse. You could do worse than this little house on the river. Watching the world go by on the river there, I like it. Have no idea what's going on in the town, or if the water is next to a nuclear power plant that's leaking. I don't know. But for what I'm looking at, I like it. What's the next one we got here? Here's another West Virginia. This is top, close to the top, 97,000. It says 2-story, home with basement, new flooring, lots of common features, yada, yada. Close to a fishing area, boat ramp. This reminds me of those old craftsman homes with the big porch. I kind of like it. It's got a nice look to it. Okay, just your regular laminate flooring. This is an older style home. That's what you're paying your money for, is having that back porch looking out over the river and the hills. Got a pretty small yard. In the back, it opens up. If you were doing gardening, you'd have to make some terraces. But yeah, I could see putting a covered area over this dock, sit out there in the shade. Yeah. It's a little on the high end, but I don't know anything about the community. Let's look real quick, see what's going on. Okay, we're still on the Kanawha River. So we know where we're at. We're not far from Paducah. And this leads in to the Ohio. But Lordy, I've learned so much about our river system since I started looking for these properties. I've always been familiar with the Mississippi, the Missouri, even the Ohio, but there's so many other rivers that go on for miles and miles and miles and connect all over the country. So yeah, this goes on up into the Ohio, and Ohio goes all the way over to the Mississippi, which goes to the Gulf, which goes to Intercoastal, which goes to my house. So you could technically, if I didn't have a dam on the river about 2 blocks away, I could get in a boat, go down my little river into the bay and Intercoastal and the Gulf, go up to Mississippi, go up to Ohio, and then go up to the Kanawha and go visit these people here at 131 Fifth Avenue, Glasgow, West Virginia. What else we got? We did these 3. Let's do another one. Here's this one is pretty interesting. It's 78,000. This one I think is on the Ohio. But what's happening here is they've turned this property into 4 units. So you've got 78,000, 4 bedroom, 4 bath. No, I don't know if zoning let them do it. You might have to have a lawyer issue when you're buying your property, but they've turned this house into 4 rentals for 78,000. So you're what is your nut going to be? It's going to be $369 a month. So $369 a month. You've got a nice little house on the Ohio, 4 units. You live in one, and the other 3 pay for all your expenses. Let's do a Google. There it is. When you're on the big rivers, you want to be careful if you're on the outside bend. Sometimes when the river gets a mind to go roving, it'll take out all the land on the outside bend and deposit it someplace else. So you want to be careful. You end up having the outside bend having land taken away sometimes, put someplace else. But here it is. Let's go to maps. The cool thing about this part of the country is you're so close to every place else. Louisville. Because you're in between. There's Washington, Indianapolis, Columbus, Detroit, St. Louis, Kansas City, Charlotte, Atlanta. You know, you're inside of a huge population area. But you're kind of in a backwater. Well, actually, no, you're close to Louisville. When you were in West Virginia, the ones I just mentioned a minute ago, you were a little farther out. But yeah, very small amount of money for 4 rental units on the river, $369 a month. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's in disrepair where you need a lot. I would check elevation to see how high the water has to go before you have to go. But yeah, looks pretty interesting, guys. So those are my under 100K houses for today, for this week. I'm going to, in the future, try to do more than just one like I did last week, because when I get around to it, half of them are already sold. And some of them, like the ones that were in Canada, were really great prices. We'll just run by real quick the lowest price ones real quick. We did this one last week over on Skid Row. We could do this Florida one, Sop Choppy. This one is also already sold, but it only had one photo anyway when it was brand new listed. I think it was already sold. It was $113 a month. It had a little trailer. When I went to Google Maps, I couldn't find the road, so it didn't show me anything from Google Maps anyway. And it's in the middle of a forest up there in North Florida, near the Gulf. But it must have had electricity or water there, I'm pretty sure. And even if the trailer was in bad shape, let's do the map. It was $23,000. So you could just park your motorhome there, your RV, and not even worry about it. $113 a month. Let's go to the map. Survey says, boom chakalaka. You see this little road here? It didn't even show up on Google. It was up here in this forest right here on Sop Choppy, which that's a town. The river is Ocklawaha. I'm from Florida. I still know how to say that one. But this one gets down into the Gulf, and it goes through the big town of Sop Choppy, down to Panacea probably. Goes through a lot of wilderness area in Florida. North Florida and Northwest Florida have some of the oldest rivers, wild rivers you can still find in the United States. Yeah, you end up down here in the Gulf near Dog Island and Panacea, and our Apalachicola Bay area and so on, and Ocklawakanee Bay. I'm not really familiar with this area, and I'm not pronouncing it right. I know I'm going to get crucified. Here's Dog Island and St. George. A lot of money now. Those used to be real cheap, real cheap. Not anymore. But yeah, this was 23,000. Had a little trailer. So there's another one I want to do on Florida. I'll do it next week. That you could get right out in the bay. It was a little over the 100,000 price, but it was a regular home. It wasn't a trailer, and it was well built and so on. But it had a secret. It had a secret access to the property that most people didn't realize. All right, guys. Hope you're enjoying these little waterfront home videos. I enjoy finding them, and eventually I may pull the trigger. And no, it might happen. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. This has been fun for me. Hope you're enjoying it, and put on new videos every week. Been doing it for 14 years. Got over 1,000 videos, a bunch of playlists, and a bunch of cool people I feature on my channel. No release me down the bottom. They would not anyway. And like I said, put on new stuff all the time. Y'all take care. See you out there.